Hey guys, in this video we'll talk about incorporating. So if your business is growing, you have some extra money in the bank, it's time to think about incorporating. So what is a corporation? Just a piece of paper and filing cabinet. That's all it really is. Some advantages of incorporating are it sets up a different entity from yourself that both the governments and the state and local laws acknowledge, and it gets rid of some of the liability where if you were to get sued by an employee or by a client or something, they'd be suing the corporation and not you personally. So whatever's attached to the corporation could have liability for whatever potential lawsuit or loss, but it wouldn't attach to your personal home, your personal car, or anything personal. They're actually identified as two separate things. So what's also great about a corporation is when you hire employees, when you have other expenses, if you want to bring on partners, it's just nice. It's a nice entity to have. It's a nice thing to use when applying for business credit cards, when applying for business loans. It's just nice to have a separate entity that's not attached to your personal name as much. A lot of banks will require you to sign on as your personal name anyway, so it's not infallible. The only issue I've had with corporations is that when you file tax returns, it does cost a little more. So instead of a couple $100, it might cost over $1,000. And if it's a corporation with a partner, it could cost even more than that. So that's the biggest disadvantage. So I wouldn't take it lightly just to file a corporation for any cause. Make sure you have revenue coming in and money to cover any type of tax or accounting expenses that you would have. The corporation that we use for our business is an LLC, which stands for a limited liability company. I would suggest talking to your accountant or a lawyer about which would work best for you. We're finding that most of the people out there doing corporations, especially in the contracting, are LLCs. They're pretty easy to form. It doesn't cost that much. The accounting practices are pretty easy, and the tax laws are very advantageous for LLCs. So for setting up an LLC, my number one recommendation is to use a lawyer. That's what we do for all of our LLCs. It'll cost anywhere from $700 to $1,000. I like using a lawyer who does this, and you interview your lawyer with the same process they use to finding your accountant, as a lawyer will know exactly who to file with, where to do it, and make it as simple as possible. There are websites that will do this. I believe LegalZoom is one of the most popular. I did use that for my very first one many years ago. The issue I found is I kept having to pay a yearly fee for some type of service that when I went back to my lawyer, he redid it and said, you don't have to pay for this yearly service that was over $100 a year. And it was just something that for some reason that did through LegalZoom. So I really prefer using a lawyer. You might pay a few more shekels for it, but it's not that bad. When you're setting up and going through the whole process of incorporating, what's really nice is you get to actually pick your name. So you don't have to use your name in the title of the business. You can call it whatever you want as long as that name hasn't been taken before. If it has been taken, you'll just have to pick something different or different enough. If you pick something even similar to, you couldn't be Amazon painting, you might get a letter from Amazon saying, please stop using that name. So definitely pick something that's not close to other names, and there's still plenty of names available out there, but that is one of the things that I've found. And also when you do incorporate, you will get an EIN number, which is an employer identification number. It's kind of like your social security number, but just for a business. And when you do this, just make sure you let your accountant know that you're doing this, because they will need that for filing purposes and for tax purposes. So just make sure you're keeping your accountant in the loop. So now you have a general summary of corporations. There's a lot of other different corporations out there I didn't get into because they most likely won't apply to you guys out there. If you are interested in those, talk to your accountant, talk to your lawyer. They'll be happy to explain them all and guide you to the best corporation for yourself. Especially a lawyer who specializes in this will guide you to what you need to do best.